NAKEDI. I'm the co-founder and director of Hifadhi Africa organization. Hifadhi Africa organization is an NGO in Kenya that supports access to quality education, healthcare, water, livelihood, and youth empowerment among pastoral communities and slum dwellers. Now, Hifadhi Africa supports communities or work with communities that are marginalized, that are underdeveloped, that in some way are stuck in regard to development. For example, in part of the region that we work with, there is only 4% literacy, which means 60% of children don't go to school. 96% of the communities are not able to communicate to the outside world. We have also supported access to community access to clean water through water harvesting. Remember, we are talking about communities that live in arid areas, so often there's no rain, and they're also within the Rift Valley belt, so there is no, because of the volcanic activities, there is no sustained or reliable reliability in regard to depending on underground water. And so we've come with ingenious way of harvesting groundwater and rainwater whenever it rains, and have that water enable those communities to go all through to the next rainy season. And we used for technologies that like sand dams. Just to give a background, sand dam was used 400 years ago in ancient Egypt, and harnessed that. And now we are able to harvest whenever it rains in another region and there is flood. In terms of livelihood, one, we've supported these communities with donation of goats. We've done, this year alone, we've given 109 goats to households that are vulnerable through drought, or they were affected by drought. Some were affected by flood that was covered. It was a national disaster in Kenya. Even the president announced emergency because of the flood and the drought situation. The drought situation affected 29 out of 47 counties in Kenya, and that was the magnitude of that particular drought, 2017. And we've also supported the elderly, the vulnerable people, to recover, to come back to the situation they were before they were affected, by giving them food. We distributed maize to regions, 6 occasions, worth $7,000 each in partnership with the organization. In terms of youth empowerment, we've also created space for young people to engage, for the community to engage, for young people to be to participate in community conversations around especially cultural sensitive issues like inter-ethnic conflicts, cattle raiding, or cattle wrestling they call it, cattle wrestling, peace and conflict resolution issues, female genital mutilation. Hifadhi Africa is the first organization, NGO in Africa, to import this small computer called Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi was invented by scientists in Cambridge Foundation in UK, and it's actually the best-selling computer in UK. And originally they had different uses for it. They were probably for example, they were used to be demonstrated among students in university and high school. They will disband it and dismantle it and use it in class tests. But what we've done with Raspberry Pi when we import it to Africa is we've used it as e-learning tool, as a computer that can create hotspot and administer curricula to schools that originally do not have these capabilities. So what we've done is it has an SD card that has textbooks, e-version textbooks. We have over 2,000 textbooks in this computer, and you're not able to remove it because we have a cover, we've put it in the inside. And then also it has a dongle that creates hotspot. So when you power it, it creates its own Wi-Fi. And most of the content are from open source, for example, Khan Academy, K-Lite, and some of the Kenyan version curricula. And once you power this on using solar power that we have, in those schools, because there's no electricity, then we donate these tablets to students, and we import these tablets from US. And so we've donated of 400 tablets of such tablets to 13 schools, to those students in those 13 schools. And so children are able to, when they connect their tablets to the Wi-Fi from the Raspberry Pi, then they are able to access the textbooks from their tablets. And these are students that originally never knew how to use, they've never seen a computer, they've never used a computer, and now they're using it. And so there is excitement or curiosity of having the technology in your hands as a student, but also being able to access textbooks that were not able to before. And these schools are now, we're seeing results, they're now becoming nationally competitive because they're able to prepare for their national exams, and they're able to compete with the students in other regions. And that's the level of investment that Hifadhi Africa is putting in education. And so moving forward, in the next 3 to 5 years, we are seeking this particular grant to enable us procure and invest more in e-learning technologies in rural Africa communities, especially in Kenya and Uganda. And also, we are also hoping to invest more in water harvesting technologies, especially among arid areas, especially in regions where there are volcanic activities, and especially among communities that are not able to have this kind of investment on their own. We are also planning to have what we call school on wheels, and these are mobile schools, because pastoral communities tend to move with availability of pastures and water. And so one of the main ways of sustaining education among these communities is to have schools that are mobile and that can conform with their culture and conform. And this technology does that because it's portable. A classroom can basically be powered under a tree, and every kid have their computers, and learning can take place. In the next 3 to 5 years, we're planning to invest more resources into our initiatives, our community-based initiatives. And we are planning to, for example, in education, invest more in our scholarship programs to have more vulnerable children go to university,